Hovenweep National Monument is located in a wild, remote and somewhat forgotten part of southwest USA. It's on the Utah-Colorado border. The name Hovenweep is a Ute Indian word meaning deserted valley, and the site is certainly that today. The region was probably first visited by nomadic hunters 14,000 years ago, but it was not until a group called the Anasazi occupied this area from about 500 to 1300 AD that the masonry towers and peblos which are at the monument today were built. The buildings of Hovenweep are numerous and varied. Some are square, some D-shaped, some round, and some are almost 4 stories tall. Why the towers were built is uncertain, but various guesses have been made. Perhaps they were observatories to look at the stars. Perhaps they were defensive sites. Perhaps they were storage facilities, civic buildings, even communication towers, or buildings for ceremonial purposes. But despite these guesses, no one really knows for certain the purpose and the use of these buildings. None of the structures here have been rebuilt or restored. Each has remained standing for more than 700 years, just as we see it today. Despite the dry, arid appearance of the land, the Anasazi were apparently very successful dry land farmers. They prepared their land for cultivation much like farmers do today. The land was terraced into farmable plots. They formed catch basins to hold water, and they built check dams such as we see here to retain soil that would normally be washed off the cliffs by erosion. Storage granaries under the canyon rims protected the Anasazi's harvest of corn, beans and squash for later use. Most of the structures at Hovenweep were built between 1200 and 1300 AD, and the buildings are skillful and beautiful, and people today just admire the quality of the construction and the attention to detail. Few buildings of the same period exhibit such careful construction and detail as we see at Hovenweep. The square tower for which the group is named is a 3-story tower built on a boulder at the head of Little Ruin Canyon. A nearby spring would have been an important resource for the inhabitants of this part of Hovenweep. The tower is impressive, elegant and tall. From the visitor centre, a moderately strenuous trail follows the canyon rim and offers excellent views of every structure. Most visitors spend 2 or more hours exploring the area. They marvel at the distinctive architecture and individualism of each of the buildings. They appreciate the care of the craftsmen of old, working with the minimum of tools, and designing their buildings to flow over existing rocks. By the end of the 13th century AD, the people of Hovenweep and the surrounding region packed up and disappeared forever from the area, moving southward. Many theories have been proposed for the reasons for the Anastasi's unexpected departure: prolonged drought, resources depleted, factionalism, even warfare or overpopulation and disease. Today, the Pueblo, the Zini and the Hopi people are descendants of this ancient culture.